Right, on the right side, yep. Good.
Hey, Shalom, Israel. This is the ISUPK, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, coming straight out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. Like, this is the biblical law class. Again, this is a very important class because it teaches our people, according to the laws of God, what we should be doing to come out of this captivity that we're in. You know, and as we're seeing, you know, Commander General Yohana, all the generals, all the captains, all the officers, we've been prophesied in this kingdom that we're in. You understand? We've been prophesying, telling our people what's to come, what's to befall us. You understand? Like we saying, we just getting a little glimpse of what the Most High can do, and how the earth can be turned upside down. You understand? So it shouldn't be far-fetched to understand that when the Most High comes back, people are going to try to fight him, and it says his vessel is going to look like it's going to be like he walked through a wine press. He's going to come back with a sword. You understand? But for this time that we're living in right now, the brotherhood that we show one another is going to be a key ingredient into helping us come back and serve the Lord the way the Lord wants to be served. You understand? Far too often we want to do it our way. We want to do what makes us feel good. We want to do what makes us, we want to do what get us seen. You see what I'm saying? Like, none of that is profitable to the Lord if that's not his will. You understand? Like, the Lord will give you the glory as he see fit when the time arises, but for us to do things our way is counterproductive to what we're trying to do in this kingdom. You understand? Prime example, we see what's going on with the protesting. We see what's going on in the streets. You understand? And people ask the question, what is the ISUPK doing? What is the ISUPK, where's the ISUPK at during the protest? You understand? Listen, the ISUPK, we've been protesting every Saturday, since 1969. We've been on the street corners. You understand? Trying, fighting against this kingdom. Trying to war. To win the souls of our people. You understand? This ain't nothing new to us. This ain't nothing new to us. You understand? But what it is when our people, soon as the oppressor see fit to call for a protest and whatnot, that's when we want to get up in arms. You understand? Now, if you're looking at this protest, I understand the frustration of our nation. You understand? We feel it every weekend. We feel it every day of our life. You understand? This ain't nothing new. Like, the feeling that we feel and what you're seeing going on in the streets, this is not a new feeling to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You understand? This is what we live on a day-to-day basis. You understand? We just expressing the frustrations that we have. But the thing is, what will it profit? What will it profit, you understand, if it's not done according to the Lord's will? And that's what we got to ask ourselves. Are we doing something momentarily right now, just because it's a fad? Or are we trying to actually do something that's going to give us this kingdom? You understand? The Lord gives us the solution. He gives us the answers to taking this kingdom. You understand? This is why we got to do it according to his will. We've thrown away the book. That's what people say. I can't get down with that Bible, man. We've thrown the Bible away, and then we wonder why we ain't got no answers and solutions to solving our problems. It disgusted me the fact that when you had, these so-called black leaders stand up and they get up and they say, we need our white counterparts to be out on the forefront with us. You know, if you say you for black people and you white, you need to be out here with us. You understand? Not knowing that how can you protest against police brutality, which is just a branch of white supremacy, with the so-called white man himself? You understand? That leads to nothing but destruction. That leads to nothing but death. You understand? You can't march with your killer. You can't march with your oppressor. And then we marching and asking for his love. We asking for his equality. You understand? This is why we got to come back to being brotherly with one another. You feel me? We should be protesting and be brothers with each other. You understand? That's what we should be marching for. We don't protest anything. Let's protest the fact that we got to come back to being a nation and doing it according to the Lord's will. You understand? If I could, let me get Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 5. The problem with what we see in our nation right now is we don't understand who we are according to the Lord. If we understood who we were according to the Lord, we would not be calling on the hand of our oppressor to stand side, to stand with us, to walk with us. You understand? We would tell him, we would tell him, you have no part with us. You understand? We don't need you, with us. You understand? Because we coming up against your system. We coming up against your rules and your regulations. You understand? Because it profits us nothing. We don't understand how special we are to God. And because we don't understand how special we are to God, what happens is we take on the spirit of the very oppressor that we call ourselves protesting against. You understand? But here in the ISUPK, you want to find a safe haven for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Like, if you want real solutions to what's going on in this nation right now, if you want real solutions to all the problems with blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the ISUPK is the place where we need to all be. You understand? And I'm not saying that as just saying it loosely. You understand? Like, here in the ISUPK is where you will experience true brotherhood. You will actually learn how to love a brother. A sister will learn how to love a sister. You understand? And everything will be done in decency and order. You understand? And this is what the ISUPK can provide. But again, this is going to help us take this kingdom back. How bad do we want it? How bad do we want this kingdom? Like, is this kingdom are we just saying that we want this kingdom with our mouth? Or are we willing to do what it takes to actually take this kingdom back right now? You understand? Like, that's what we gotta sit back and reevaluate. We all gotta ask ourselves that, If I could, let me get Deuteronomy chapter 4. I'm gonna start in verse 5. And Salaki too, allergies tearing me up this evening. It's a little heavy pollen out here for real, so.
Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me.
And you're going to say, behold, I've taught you statutes and judgments. Like, the Lord gave us rules, you understand? The Lord gave us a culture. The Lord gave us a way of life, you understand? But the thing is, like, what have we done with his way of life? Since we've been in this kingdom, we've taken on every culture and every culture. We've taken on the culture of every nation we've been a part of, except for the Most High. You understand? We got to come back to the laws and statutes that the Most High gave us. Keep going.
That ye should do so in the land, whether ye go to possess it.
Right here, this is saying, I've given you statutes and judgment, even as the Lord my God commanded that you should do so in the land, whether you go to possess it. You understand? Meaning, it don't matter where we are in the world. Right now, we're in captivity. Even in captivity, we're to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, you understand? It don't matter where we at in the earth, you understand? We serve a higher power. We serve the most high power to the point where as though no matter where we are on the earth, in the world, what kingdom we're under, whose foot we're under, we serve the Lord. You understand?
Right.
Keep going.
You shall keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations.
This is very important, right? Because this is the scriptures say this is our wisdom and our understanding in the sight of the nations. Right now, as you can see, the nations, they do not respect us. You understand? These nations, like, for you to take a life of a black man, an unarmed black man, for you to put your knee on his neck for 8 minutes, you understand? You have no respect, you have no fear for for no one of our nation. You understand? You look at us like we can be killed like we have no value. There's no love that they show us, you understand? None whatsoever. You know, and George Floyd is just one brother, you understand? It's a whole litany of brothers and sisters, men, women, and children, and babies that have been slaughtered by this animal.
Right.
You understand? The Most High is saying this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations. You understand? Like so, I see why he said that. Keep going.
Which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this is a great nation. Right. Surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people.
Surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people, you understand? By us keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, these other nations are going to look at us and say, man, these dudes, this is a great nation right here. They wise, man. There's something different about them. I can't just put my hands on them, you understand? There's something a little different about them. I can't do what I want to do, when I want to do it, how I want to do it. I got to deal with these brothers and sisters the right way. You understand? This is what these laws, statutes, and commandments do for us. These other nations have to respect us once we start keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. Keep going.
Right. 7. For what nation is there so great, who has God so nigh unto them, as the Lord our God is in all things that we call upon him for?
Here's the thing, say, for what nation is there so great, who have God so, when they say nigh, that means close, have God so close to them, as the Lord our God is in all things that we call upon him for. This is, again, is very important. Like, when we keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, you understand, the Lord is close to us. We're doing his will. That's why I say, as the Lord our God is in all things that we call upon him for. Now let me ask you a question. Have we called on the Lord in the midst of all this protesting? Who do we call on when we die in the streets? Who do we call to? Who do we run to? You understand? When we're murdered in cold blood. You know who we run to? We run to our government. We not our government, we run to the oppressor's government. You understand? We seek equality from a beast. You understand? This is who we run to. But the thing is when we run to the Lord, when we keep the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, we should run to the Lord before we run to anybody else. Because he's the one who's close to us. He's the one that's going to deliver us from any situation we're in. He's the one that's going to give us real justice. You understand? And this is what we got to understand. Like, it's not good enough to call on our white counterparts, our white co-workers, John down the street, who grew up around black people, so he get a pass for everything. That's not who we call on. You understand? We call on the Most High. And this is where we get true justice, you understand? Like, this is what the Most High wants to give to Israel. This is what the Most High has in store for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. This is what the Most High has in store for, George Floyd, Trayvon Martin, Sandra Bland. You understand? Eric Garner. Like, this is what the Most High has in store for us. Not to mention all of our ISUPK brothers that's still on the border getting tortured over there. You understand? In them concentration camps that no one wants to talk about no more.
I thought he let him go.
Man, he ain't let nobody go. Listen. Oh, he did? The ISUPK over there on the border? Well, he probably just let him out because he needs some more laborers for the time being, you understand? But that situation was going on for so long, you understand? And no one gave a damn. Right. The Most High sees all of this. And this is why we got to keep his law, statutes, and commandments and keep the Most High close to us. Because in our times of trouble, that's who we run to. And the Lord will give us swift justice. You understand? Like, it's time for us to come back to being who we're supposed to be in this earth. You understand? Let me get Amos 3 and 2. That's why the brotherhood that we're going to show each other, the brotherhood we should have for one another, you understand, should cover a multitude of things, you understand, a multitude of shortcomings. The brotherhood that we have for each other, you feel me, will force us to serve the Most High the way the Most High wants to be served, you understand? Brotherhood is what helps us keep the law, statutes, and commandments. You understand? You going through something, you don't understand something, you call your brother. You understand? This is why everybody needs to be in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. I'm the Commander General Yahweh. You got that? Amos 3 and 2.
Amos 3 and 2. You only have I known of all the families of the earth.
You only have I known of all the families of the earth. You understand? Like the Most High is saying, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, I've only dealt with you. You understand? I've only gotten down with you. You understand? Like y'all my right hand right here. Y'all the ones I mess with. You see what I'm saying? But what we do is when the Most High wants to give us something special, we want to share it with everybody else. We want to share everything that we have as a blessing with every other nation on the planet. When they don't deserve it. They don't deserve it. We'll share every blessing with everybody else, but won't share no curses with them. You understand? Like, we take the curses on our own. We don't ask for them to take part in the curses with us. But as soon as the Most High wants to give us something, you know what I'm saying? Well, doesn't God love everybody? God is for everybody. God is all love. But when we get our butts whooped, you understand? We don't speak like that. Because if God loved everybody, they ain't getting their butts whooped, and we did the same thing. So we'll take them curses, but we'll share the blessings, you understand? The Most High is saying, you only have I known. Keep going.
Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities.
And this is how you know who we are. This is how you know who Israel is. When we do wrong, we actually get punished for it. You understand? When you do wrong, when we do wrong, we actually go to jail. We go to prison. We get killed. Damn, but you ain't gotta do wrong, we're gonna get all those things. You understand? You can have a police officer put his knee on the neck of a black man for 8 minutes and kill him on camera, and still have what they call them, the state, what is it, state's attorney?
Yeah.
Questioning whether or not they should press charges against him. You had 4 officers standing right there. 2 other officers was on the brother's legs, whereas though he couldn't even move. Two officers on his legs, 1 officer on his neck. And you question whether you should charge the first one, and then you don't charge the other 3 at all. You understand?
I'm the ones who stop the people from coming in and saying it right.
And then, absolutely, that's a great point. And then they was the ones stopping other people from coming in and giving the brother assistance because they knew he was about to die. You understand?
All of them accessories to murder.
All of them accessories to murder. This is how you know who we are. We actually get punished for our crimes. Like if I rob a bank right now, and the barber car ain't got nothing to do with nothing, he don't know nothing, he just see me, Matanza, what's up, Bob? And he gets in my vehicle with me, and I got stolen money in that bag in the back. And the police pull me over. The boy ain't got to know nothing about nothing, and he's going to get the same charge I got. They're going to say you should have been smarter. You should have asked a few more questions. You're an accessory to this crime that he committed. We get punished for the things we do. When they do it, they walk free. They go home, you understand? They fired him and then told they fired the police officer initially, but then they gave him, what's the people from the army, the National Guard. The National Guard was guarding his home. You understand? The Most High said, ye only have I known. The Most High is only dealing with us, you understand? The Most High is dealing with us. And this is why we got to learn to deal with us. You understand? Let me get Zephaniah 2:1. We're gonna see what the Most High solution is. You know, for us fixing these problems that we have in our community. You understand? And not only fixing our problems, but getting justice for everything that we've been through here in this hellhole that we're living in. You understand? We want to see what the Most High says. You got that?
That's 2:1.
Come on.
Zephaniah 2:1. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together. O nation not desired.
Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired. You understand? Like, the only nation on the planet Earth that's not desired is Israel. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We're not desired in the kingdom, but what it is we're needed. You understand? They need us to work in their fields. You understand? Whole Food needs Black and Hispanics to get arrested so that they can build Whole Foods for free. You understand? They still got chain gangs in 2020. They still have chain gangs over in Texas. Yeah, they're everywhere. You know, you got these so-called the so-called white man. You know, he go to a sporting event or something like that, get wasted, throw trash everywhere. You know, burn the city down. You know who's gonna clean that up? Black and Hispanic prisoners. You see them and they have them they put them in work vans and they bring them around. And they're the ones cleaning the side of the streets and cleaning up all the trash that they done put out. All on the highways, you understand? We not desired in this kingdom, but we need it for labor. That's all. You understand? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the children of the Lord. And because we're the children of the Lord, when things happen to us, when atrocities occur to us, we got to get into the habit of not going to the oppressor who caused those atrocities to us. We got to get in the habit of going to the Most High and seeking the Most High's will, and seeking vengeance from the Most High. And that's the only way that we're going to actually get justice here in this kingdom. You know, like, I've heard several times, you know, I definitely heard Commander General Yohana say it. He say, do you walk up to a lion and say, hey, Mr. Lion, please don't eat me? That lion is going to open his mouth and devour you. You see what I'm saying? You don't go to a beast and beg forgiveness. You understand? You get the hell away from him. And that's what we got to do. Yeah, we begging for mercy. We begging for mercy from a cowardly, heartless, cold beast. You understand? Just like you wouldn't go before a lion and ask a lion not to eat you. Why are we going before the oppressor and asking him for forgiveness? You understand? It's counterproductive. But the thing is, we should already know that. The churches and Muslim mosques and, you know, so-called conscious communities, you know, a lot of people like to speak on the ISUPK. This is common knowledge that our people should have. But guess what? We don't have it. We don't have the knowledge to go to the Most High. We don't have the knowledge to unite, you know, to unite according to these scriptures. You understand? In righteousness. Let's not unite and continue to sin. Let's unite in righteousness and do it according to the Lord's will. You feel me? We've tried every other way already. You know, we've hated each other for so long already. Let's try actually doing the way the Most High said, showing each other brotherhood. You understand? Let me get 1 John 4:20. And check this out. These Christian pastors, you know, y'all need to be taking note. Commander General Yohana has been putting out videos daily. You understand? Talking to the people, trying to galvanize the people. You understand? It's a lot of people that's not even in this school that watch our channels. You understand? They watch our channels. And they receive the messages from Commander General Yohana. Commander General Yohana is putting out videos almost daily, you know, breaking down what this situation really means, what we need to be doing. You understand? Like, where's T.D. Jakes at? Where's Creflo Dollar? Where's Jamal Bryant? Where are these cowards at? You understand? Like, this is what our people need to remember once this thing passes. You need to see who was with you. You need to see who was with you and who was actually doing the work of the Lord, you understand? Because as soon as this thing starts down and it becomes safe for what people consider safe, that's when they're going to come out the woodworks yelling and breathing all hard and collecting tithe money and donations and riding their Rolls Royces around the cities again, you understand? Right now they hiding, they cooped up. They don't know what the Lord wants for his people. They don't have the slightest clue because they're not sent from the Lord. But guess what? They'll be the ones that come out and put our people back in this predicament in which we're starting to follow the oppressor again. You understand? We need to remember who's there in the midst of it all. Commander General Yohana is putting out videos damn near daily teaching our people. You know, saying, you know, this situation occurred. This is how we got to respond to that. This is what we need to do. You understand? No one else is doing that. We need to remember that as a nation. You got that scripture? 1 John 4:20.
First John 4:20. If a man say, I love God, and hateth his brother, he is a liar. For he that loveth his own brother, loveth not his own brother, whom he hath seen.
Let's stop there. If a man say, I love God, and hateth his brother, he is a liar. You understand? And this is what you see. This is what you see coming out of the mouth of Christians. This is what you see in the heart of Christians right now, you understand? I love God, Jesus is this and Jesus is that, you understand? This is what they speaking. But as soon as you say anything about this oppressor, you know what they say? Well, we got to stop killing us. Yeah, flip it. What is on? Slide it, hold on 1 second. We're having technical difficulties. Give me 1 second.
Now it's right here. It's the second camera on the wall.
Say it again.
What's going on? Second camera on it.
That's what it was. I'm not sure what's going on.
You gotta look at
Which one that's not into, so. Faded to all over the building, shit, medicine,
First John 4:20 from the top.
1 John 4:20. If a man say, I love God, and hateth his brother, he is a liar.
If a man say I love God and hateth his brother, he is a liar, you understand? Like, there's no way that you can say that you love God and have a hatred in your heart towards your brother. You understand? Because you and your brother having love for one another is showing the Most High that you love Him. So how can you do one and not the other? You understand? It's an oxymoron, actually. You understand? It's contradictory. It's contradicting itself. You understand? If you say you love God and hate your brother, you know. No, I'm just on the top part. Yeah, like when a man says, I love God and hate his brother, you understand? The Most High is saying that you're a liar, you understand? So we gotta come out of that attitude of, well, they killing us because we kill us. That's a symptom of that. You understand? We guard this and guard that, but when a black man loses his life, you understand, it's like we have no compassion for it. You hear this in the midst of our people. Keep going.
For he that loveth not his brother, whom he has seen, how can he love God, whom he has not seen?
Right. And that's heavy, because it's like, for he that loveth not his brother, like how can you hate your brother who you see every day? You see the struggles that he go through, you understand? You see the war that he's in, you in it too. You see this oppressor up against us. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's like we in the trenches together. How can you hate your brother, but then say that you love God who you can't physically see God? You see what I'm saying? You can't set eyes on the Most High, but you can set eyes on your brother. So how can you have a hatred in your heart for him? You understand? Like, this is what the Lord is bringing out. Like, if you love me, you should love him at least. You see what I'm saying? Keep going.
"21, and this commandment have we from him, that he who loveth God love his brother also."
And this commandment we have, that he who loveth God love his brother also. This is very important. Because if we want to say that we love God, you understand, we got to care about our brothers. We got to care about our sisters. You understand? It's not good enough for us to turn our back on our people. You understand? Just because you got a good job and you don't live in the hood no more, you making a couple of hours, so the issues that plague blacks and Hispanics, you feel like you far from that. If you say that you love God, you feel me, you better remember those people in the ghettos. You understand? You know, you're in Baltimore, remember those brothers and sisters at Lexington Market, you understand? Remember those brothers and sisters at Pennsylvania North Avenue. Remember those brothers and sisters in Cherry Hill and Park Heights, you understand? You're going to say that you love God, you feel me? Love your brother and your sister as well. This is what the Most High is saying to us.
So powerful. That's so powerful what you're saying, because we have brothers in every state pimping our own sisters.
Come.
But you wouldn't want somebody to do that to your mother.
Come.
Yet you will pimp another, make a sister sell her body for your gain.
Come.
Instead of teaching her. That's not love.
Yeah, and that's what we see all the time. And then we'll go and praise God. You understand?
Got a nerve to be a preacher.
And got a nerve to be a preacher. You see what I'm saying? And got a nerve to be Jamal Bryant. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is how it goes. You know, it's like you hate the fabric of who you are so much that you can't stand the sight of your own brother. But you'll get up there and cry out and how much you love God and how much Jesus is your Savior, you understand? The Most High called you a liar. You see what I'm saying? That's what it is. And what gets me is the fact that we can forgive. We won't forgive each other for nothing. You understand? We won't forgive each other for nothing. But anything our oppressor do to us, we'll find a glimmer. We'll find that one glimmer of hope in him. You see what I'm saying? We'll find that one glimmer of hope in him, and we'll forgive every atrocity that he's committed against us and our foreparents. You understand? Like, that's what we do. That's why we got to take our love from him, and we got to put our love back into our nation. You understand? Prime example of that, you know, we got some brothers down in Minnesota, man. We got some brothers, some strong soldiers down in Minnesota, man, and they went out in the midst of the protesting. You know, look it up on YouTube. You know, check it out. You know, the Lord was showing blacks and Hispanics who He's with. You understand? They had a devil come over to him. This devil was on his knees with his head towards the earth. Not because we put him there. That's because the Most High was with us. You understand? Right. In the midst of everything that's going on, a devil got on his knees and put his head towards the earth and was going to lick up the dust of thy boots, just like the scripture say. And you know who came and kirked out on us? Our sister. You understand? Our sister kirked out on us. No, y'all can't do that. Y'all can't do that. As much killing, as much raping, as much pillaging that this devil has done in this earth, as much as we've been on our knees begging him, this very protest is begging him for equality, is begging him to be nice to us again, you understand? Like we've served him and done everything that he's needed us to do for him. And you mean to tell me that we get one devil on his knees, and our people can't take that. You understand? Like we got to come out of that spirit, because what it is that spirit is going to be the spirit that pretty much will get our people destroyed again. You understand? But this time by the Most High. Let me get if I could, let me get Isaiah 31:3. Like, it almost makes me jealous sometimes to see how much our people love our oppressor. It almost makes me jealous because I say, man, what if they just had, like, what if we had that love for each other like that? Like, man, look how strong we would be. Like, we would be an unstoppable force if we loved each other with the same love that we give to our oppressor. You understand? You got that? 31:3.
Isaiah 31:3. Now the Egyptians are men, and not God, and their horses flesh, and not spirit.
Here's the thing, the Most High was talking about the Egyptians, you know, the same way with slaves in Egypt, with slaves in America right now, you understand? Egypt means bondage, you understand? You know, it say now the Egyptians are men and not God. They ain't no gods. Our president right now, he's no God, you understand? The Most High is with us, you understand? This oppressor is not God himself. Neither is his horses. Neither is his, you know, in all of his might. He's not God, you understand? Keep going.
When the Lord shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is hoping shall fall down, and they all shall fail together.
What is this saying? Right here, this is that spirit that when Christ returns and he's coming back and he's putting these people in check, he's punishing them for the atrocities that they committed against us. You know what? You know what's going to happen? The same thing that happened down in Minnesota. The same thing that happened in Minnesota when that devil got on his knees, you understand? And our people came and saved him, you understand? When Christ come back to punish these people, if we want to do that, if we want to be so merciful and stand in the way of Christ punishing them, guess what? We're going to be in the midst of those who get punished, you understand? We can't stop what the Most High has in store for them. We want to be merciful, we want to hold their hand, and no, we can't do that. We can't be like that. You do that if you want to when Christ come back. Guess what? We going to get wrapped up in it. We will die just like they will die, you understand? This is an important message, you understand, because a lot of people don't understand what they see when we have a devil on his knees. Like, we're not forcing anything. The Most High is actually showing his people who he's with. You know, a wise man would say, you know what? These brothers over here got the truth. He ain't got to know nothing. He can say, man, it's a spirit that's moving these brothers right here. I just seen a devil down in his own kingdom kissing their boots. You understand? But a sister came over. Here in Baltimore, we get boot kisses, man. And we get threatened and cursed out by our own people. You understand? When Christ come back, man, listen, that spirit can't be a part of us. But it will be. You know, you can't stop what the Most High has in store for them. You understand? Just come back to being a brother with who you should be a brother with. Stop trying to be brothers with the oppressor. Stop trying to be friendly with them.
Love your brother like you love
Yeah. Love your brother with the same compassion, you know, that you love the oppressor with. You understand? Like, that's what I say. It makes me, like, I sit back sometimes and think, like, this oppressor can do anything under the sun. It don't matter what he do. You know, he get in a low crouching position and he start crying and he start begging for forgiveness. He do that because he knows if it's anybody who forgive him, it'll be blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You understand? But let me beg forgiveness from my brother. You understand? You still got to worry about getting shot. This is the spirit we got to come out of. This is why we got to take our love from them and bring our love back to where it belongs. You know, we got to do it in righteousness, in the will of the Most High. You understand? If I could, let me get 1 John 3 and 14.
First John 3 and 14. We know that we have passed from death unto life, because we love the brethren. He that loveth not his brother abides in death.
It said we know that we have passed from death unto life because we love the brethren. You understand? Like, this is why I say, like, being brotherly is such a being a brother to a brother is such a key ingredient into bringing us back to who we supposed to be according to the Lord. You feel me? Because when you love your brother, you have compassion for your brother, you're merciful with your brother, you fair with your brother, and you deal with your brother according to these scriptures. Guess what? You are no longer walking considered or counted as the walking dead. You understand? What is this life that we're talking about right here? We know that we have passed from death unto life. You understand? We coming out of death, meaning we coming out of hating our brother. We coming out of not keeping law, statutes, and commandments in the way we deal with each other. But when we come into that life is keeping this law, keeping these statutes, keeping these commandments, dealing with each other according to these scriptures. We pass from death into life because we love the brethren. He that loved not his brother abideth in death. You can hate your brother if you want to. You can hate your brother if you want to. You understand? The Lord considers you to be dead. You understand? Like the Lord considered that what they call graveyard conditions. You see what I'm saying? You walk around and you hating your brothers and you hating your sisters. You ain't got no love for your people. You feel me? As soon as that oppressor come around, like everything's supposed to be sweet, you talk nice, your voice change. You see what I'm saying? The Lord is telling us to come out of that spirit. Come out of that. You feel me? Be a brother to your brother. You understand? Give him the benefit of the doubt. Go ahead.
1 John 3 and 15. Whosoever hateth his brother is a murderer. And ye know that no murderer has eternal life abiding in him.
Damn right. Whosoever hateth his brother. Now it's interesting because here's that whosoever right here, right? So that whosoever, when it benefits, when they think it benefits the oppressor, they'll throw him into that whosoever. They won't throw that whosoever into the oppressor now. You see what I'm saying? You'll never hear nobody bring that whosoever up when and put the oppressor into this scripture. Whosoever hateth his brother is a murderer. You understand? You are a murderer if you hate your brother. You ain't got to pull the trigger.
You know the white man hates us to death.
And he hates us to death.
Perpetual hatred.
You know? An everlasting hatred that he has towards us. You feel me? You know? Like we gotta sit back and just think. Do you know how barbaric you have to be? Like to actually to murder someone in cold blood? Like, do you know where you have to be in relation to that person? Like, as far as your mindset, you have to absolutely hate that person. You cannot have no compassion for him. You cannot have no compassion for his kids. You can have no compassion for his family, his mother. Like, you don't see nothing in him outside of your enemy. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's what our oppressor has for us. Like, if you could like reverse this. Like, in my mind, I reversed this, right? I said, what if it was a so-called white man on that ground, and it was a black police officer? Would that black police officer have put his knee in that white man's neck for 8 minutes? And if it was other white police officers watching this, would they have intervened? That's what I asked myself. You know, I mean, if it was other black police watching this, would they have intervened? They wouldn't have had to. That brother would have got off his neck. You see what I'm saying? Because he'd have had compassion for him. You understand? He'd have had compassion for him. He'd have felt something for him. He'd have looked in his eyes when he was saying he couldn't breathe. He'd have felt his body struggling to move, you understand, underneath his knee. And he would have stopped and let him up. Probably gave him a bottle of water or something, you understand? This shows you the hatred that they have for us, but it also shows you the amount of love that we have for them. This brother's, one of his friends actually got on there and said, you know what? You know, we got, you know, we always talk forgiveness, though we've been murdered. You know, what's the other brother? Aubrey. What was the other brother that was jogging? I think it was Aubrey something. His friend said we need to forgive them men. We need to forgive them.
Oh, he's talking black guy with the jogging and killed by a white boy.
Come. I think it was Aubrey something. Yeah, but one of his best friends actually got on TV and said we need to forgive the men who shot him. You see what I'm saying? But as soon as a black man, let's say there was a black man who did that, there wouldn't have been no forgiveness. You know what they would have said? We want them brought to justice. We want them brought to justice. That's what we want. But as soon as this oppressor, you understand, that's when we want to forgive and we want to be polite and we want to be nice and we want to sit down and sing Kumbaya and get in a circle with him and find out what motivates him, and we want to, you know, just be his pet. You understand? The Lord is saying, come out of that spirit, man. If you hate your brother, you are a murderer. You understand? And you know that no murder have eternal life abiding in him. You can't have a eternal life abiding in you because you hate the very essence of who you are.
Right.
Good.
And that's so powerful what you said, because that's why scripture say that the white man is going to become extinct.
Come.
Every nation is going to have a chance except the white man.
Come.
So the Bible is definitely true, because it said no murderer gets eternal life.
Come.
He is the main one that God singled out, said he cannot get eternal life.
Because he was a murderer from the beginning. You understand? He's hated his brother from the beginning. You see what I'm saying? Like, for the Most High to wipe you out and annihilate you completely, it tells you the amount of wickedness you have in you. You understand? But this is the people that we love. But your brother who lives next door to you, you can't show him no love. Can't show him no mercy. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
You quick to defend a white man, but you hate your husband.
Come.
Having another wife.
Come.
Something he is allowed to do by law.
Come. You know, a brother say, yeah, I can have more than one wife, you understand? And you know, for a sister, like, this is just a sidebar to this, you know, for a sister who's dealing with a brother who has, you know, more than one wife, a lot of times those sisters are in the best relationship they've been in their entire life. You see what I'm saying? She know the brother ain't going nowhere. The brother's teaching her. He's correcting her when she needs to be corrected. And every woman loves being corrected by a righteous man. You know? It does something to him. You see what I'm saying? You know, because even when they don't want to hear it, they respect you when you do it, and they know that you're a man of the Lord. You understand? So a woman will be in the best relationship of her life with that brother who has two or three more ribs. You understand? And she'll disrespect him. But that bastard of a supervisor on her job, who she says she hates his guts, he'll tell her to do the most ridiculous task, and you know what she's gonna do? She's gonna complete it. She's gonna do it to the best of her ability, and then she's gonna come home and be a monster to you. You understand? We've got to come out of that spirit. You understand? We've got to come out of thinking and behaving that way with each other. This is what the Lord is saying. Let's not be like them. There's no life abiding in him. You understand?
How can you hate your brother? That's what you say every day, so you love the Lord. So many of our sisters hate their husbands.
Come.
But yet they say they love God.
Come.
The Bible says you're a liar.
That's what the scripture's saying. That's exactly what the scripture's saying.
We understand that Most High tell us to treat our husbands like they was Christ.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you're not doing that, you need to check yourself.
But that, I think, like, and that's important to realize where that spirit comes from. That spirit comes from the oppressor. You see what I'm saying? When you love the oppressor more than you love your own people, right, that's where that spirit comes from.
And the reason I say that because so many of our sisters hate their brothers so much that they become homosexuals. They despise, they become butchers. They despise their brothers. That's why they become the man in a relationship. They despise for a sister to mess with a man. You know what I'm saying? And the gay community is sad, man. And so many of our sisters are going to be destroyed because of that.
Again, and that's because we followed the oppressor.
Right.
We've taken his advice. You understand? We've taken his advice and whatnot, and the thing is, we've learned to hate each other. That's what it boils down to.
Fell in love with sin.
You know, we fell in love with sin. We fell in love with the devil. You understand? That's what we fell in love for. We fell in love with the devil, and this is what I want to tell everybody. You know, the scripture warns us against our oppressor. You understand? Like, that's the beauty of this Bible. Though everyone wants to throw it away and make it seem like it's the so-called white man's book and he wrote it or whatnot, you understand? This scripture breaks down the characteristics. It breaks down the spirit of this oppressor. It actually breaks down how he's going to come at you. You see what I'm saying? Like, it gives you a game plan. Like, I played basketball and football damn near my entire life. You see what I'm saying? And the one thing we got to do is we got to watch video on the other teams. We got to see what their strengths are. We got to see what their weaknesses are. We got to know how they're going to come at us. That's the only way we're going to have a fortified game plan to defeat them. You understand? The Most High lays it out in the scriptures. He gives you a game plan. But since we don't want to get into this book, we don't have an answer. Like, he comes at us and beguiles us left and right. Left and right, you feel me? We fall for it every time. You understand? This is why we gotta get back in the Bible. Let me get Psalms 55 and 21 real quick. Like the Most High is going to lay out the characteristics of this oppressor, you know. So, you know, when you see, I know everybody's been seeing videos on, you know, what's going on with the protest and the looting and all that kind of stuff. You understand? What people see is black people going into the stores and black people getting beat up, black people getting pretty much destroyed out there in the streets. You understand? But what people do not see is that it was the so-called white man that instigated everything. It was that white man who went into AutoZone and broke the glass first. It was the white lady giving the brothers bricks to throw at different businesses. You understand? Like, this is what we don't see. The scriptures warns us against this. You understand? You see countless videos of, you know, these so-called white people getting called out because some of our people are catching on. They calling them out like, listen, why are you giving people bricks and then you drive off in the car, knowing that if we get caught with a brick, that's a death penalty offense. You understand? Police will shoot on sight to see if they see us with a brick. But you passing them out, you playing like you cool with us, but you really are out. Like, that's what they do. You see what I'm saying? You got that?
21.
Come on.
Psalms 55 and 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
The words of his mouth were smoother than Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter, you understand? We've got to stand up against injustice. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter. Keep going.
But war was in his heart.
But war was in his heart. So every time a black person in that riot, in that protest that gets handed a brick, that's because that white person is at war with them. You understand? Every time you see that one, you'll see 20 black people, you'll see that one white person that spray paint a wall, that one white person that go and break a business window down. Not because they protested with the black people. That's because it's war in their heart. They're going to do that, and they're going to start something, and they're going to get out of Dodge, you see what I'm saying? And they're going to leave the brothers and sisters there to get caught, get beat up, get shot, get robbed, you understand? The Most High is giving us a game plan now. You understand? Keep going.
His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords.
His words were softer than oil, yet they were drawn swords. And here's news. These oppressors don't give a damn about what happened to the brother George Floyd. They don't give a damn what happened to him. This is their way of standing up against the government. You understand? This is their way of, like, you got to remember, we just came off a quarantine in which damn near the whole earth was shut down for 2 or 3 months. They pissed off. Like, what we got to realize is that they've been outside protesting before this happened. They was down in Annapolis here in Baltimore. They was storming the courthouse buildings with shotguns in different places and stuff like that. The White House and all that, you understand? They've been out protesting. Now when this situation happened, they just use this as a catalyst to get their viewpoints across. Go ahead.
You know, since this pandemic is going on, they've been going broke because their businesses hasn't been making no money.
Come.
So they piloted this crafty council of war on the streets to bust up and break up their stores so he can call in the National Guard and they can get all their everything fixed. You know, the minute they call that out, they get insurance for everything. That's what General Howard was saying last night. Everything get fixed. So now it's part of the plan to,
Not only,
how can we get our businesses back? How can we get our money back in our pocket?
right,
If we get these niggas to run on the street and bust up our stores and get him to call the National Guard in,
there you go.
everything will be fixed. It's
Come.
like when you burn
Come.
down your business to get the insurance.
Come.
You know what I'm saying? The white man uses crafty counsel all the way back from when the Bible told us so.
Come.
And this right here is not helping us. It's hurting us.
It's hurting us, but it's profiting them. You see what I'm saying?
Because they are the ones with the businesses that we're destroying.
Because it's certain. Once something is considered a pandemic, there's certain different payouts that the government will give out. You see what I'm saying? So if you can stretch a situation and call it, and it gets classified as a pandemic, them businesses get money for that.
That's why the white man is joining with you to bust up these stores like they're your friend.
But really, we joining with him because he been out there already.
He initiated it and got us to go out there and carry it on with them, and they're gonna bust up the stores, try to get as much profit as they can, and they're gonna dip.
Done.
Now that's catch the charge, and then in the long run, they get reimbursed for the whole situation.
They get reimbursed. They get new businesses. And you know what we get? We get jail time,
That's right.
which
Yeah.
means we get death.
Doug sick on us.
And we get jail time, which means the new business that they got, because they broke the window first, that new business, now we going to go and do the legwork. We going to go do the labor in prison for it. You see what I'm saying?
And on top of it, we're going to buy the merchandise when we come out.
That's right. You see what I'm saying? Like the Lord is giving us the game plan of our enemy. You see what I'm saying? All we got to do is pay attention to these words. Go ahead.
We fail to misunderstand that the game plan is the Bible.
That's right.
We hearken to the voice of the Lord thy God to observe and to do all his commandments that he teaches this day.
That's right.
We would not go through these things. This next scripture that I want to read is powerful.
Go ahead.
Psalms 55:22. Cast thy burdens upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved.
That's heavy. You feel me? Cast thy burden upon the Lord.
We want to do that.
Right.
We want to.
Who do we cast our burdens to?
The white man.
We cast the burden to the same person who put us in the burden.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? We don't go to the Lord.
Right. That's the whole problem right there.
Like, we do not go to the Lord for nothing. But we will go to the very oppressor that put us in the situation. You feel me? Go ahead.
Or go to the oppressive laws that he gave us, which is the white Jesus, Christianity, and Islam.
Right.
We won't go to the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge because we think that's a cult.
Right. You know, and the only reason they think it's a cult is because we say that the white man is the devil. We come up against the white man.
Right.
You understand? When people approach me, they don't say, "Hey, what's your take on anything?" You know what they ask me? Why do you hate the white man?
Right.
That's the question I get. Why do you hate the white man so much?
Why shouldn't you?
And you know what I ask them? Why don't you?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Give me a break real quick. Switch that. I'm gonna take that. Yeah, I'm taking that. Good. Yeah, but that's what happened. You know, we turn to the same people that put us in those positions. Keep on. We say he shall never.
He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved.
He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. You understand? The ISUPK is standing right here in the midst of all of this. You understand? The ISUPK is not being moved. Commanding General Yahan is not being moved. You understand? We got to read these scriptures, come back to the Bible. We got to understand that the Most High is giving the game plan of how we're going to actually come out of this hell that we're in by being brotherly to one another. You understand? By listening to his law, statutes, and commandments. This is the way we take this kingdom over. Go ahead.
And this is why we haven't took the kingdom over, because we didn't do what he said do. We do everything else but what the Lord said, so we never rise.
Right. And that's all you hear. You know, it's time for a change. Listen, the type of change that you're asking for, we've tried it already. We've tried talking to them.
Over and over again.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we've tried talking to them. Like, damn, the Native Americans talked to him. Look what happened. He broke every treaty with them. We talked to him. You see what I'm saying? Like, everybody who sits with this beast gets destroyed. You understand? Like how much more death do we need to suffer before we realize that we need to come back together, you feel me, and serve the Most High the way the Most High wants to be served, by keeping his law, statutes, and commandments, and being brothers to one another. You understand? Let me get Mark 12 and 31.
Mark 12 and 31. And the second is like, namely this: thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. There is none other commandment greater than this.
Listen, this is talking about the two great commandments, pretty much a summary of the commandments, you understand? The second is like, namely this: thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself, you understand? Your neighbor is talking about your brother. You understand? That black man, that Hispanic man, that Native American man, you feel me? Love him the same way you love you. You understand? Like, this is what the scripture is telling us. Like, there is none other commandment greater than these two. You understand? Is to love God and then love your brother as thyself. You know what I'm saying? This is why it's so important that we come back to understanding who we are first and foremost.
Right.
Because if we don't understand who we are, we feel like the oppressor is our brother. We don't know that he's our enemy. You see what I'm saying? We don't know that African is not for us. We don't know that East Indian is our enemy. You see what I'm saying? Like, we don't know these things. So now that we got knowledge of who we are, you feel me? Now we got to understand, what is it that we're supposed to be doing in this earth? What are we supposed to be doing to change the conditions that we're currently living in? What are we supposed to be doing so we don't see another George Floyd, another Trayvon Martin? Like, what should we be doing as a nation? Like, if I could take it back, if we could go back, like, everybody's familiar with the story of when Moses freed our forefathers and foremothers out of Egypt. You understand? Like, Moses never told us, line up and let's go march and protest. Let's go and ask Pharaoh if he'll let us go. Let's go and ask Pharaoh if he'll hear us out. Let's go and ask Pharaoh for forgiveness. That's not the route that Moses took. You understand? What did we do in ancient Egypt, you understand, that got us free?
We did everything that Moses said for the Lord for us to do.
Damn right.
Told us to do. Moses told us to follow the Lord, so we followed the Lord.
Damn right.
Even though we hesitated, we had no choice but to follow the Lord, and it worked out for the best.
And in particular, what we did was we put the blood of the unblemished lamb above the doorpost. I mean, above the door and on the sides of the doorpost. You understand? And you know what we did? Did we go out and protest? No, we didn't. We stayed in the house. We stayed in the house. And while we were in the house, the Lord was out there slaughtering the Egyptians.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? Like this is why we have a record of these scriptures. This is showing you who the Most High is with. You understand? You talk about protesting, man. We in the ISUPK, we known for being on the street corners. You understand? You know, we known for being out there and coming up against this oppressor.
Right, I mean, that's the problem what you're saying, because, you know, the white man, with this crash and cancel, destroyed our homes by putting the woman over top of the man and making her want to gain control over the family as a head.
Right.
And with doing that, now the man has no power in leading his wife to do anything that God said.
Right.
So, as in the garden, the woman always wanted to go with the oppressor.
Right.
Because she wanted that power. Now that she got the power in the kingdom, in the white man's kingdom over the man, our families are not going with God.
God.
You know what I'm saying? And the only families that go with God is the families that led by the head that God said to lead, which is the man.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? Because the men coming to the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge open up the doors for their families and their wives to come into the school.
Right.
The ones who have an ear to hear, gain the truth. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's so hard to teach a woman in the world this truth. And she just going to rebel against it. She's so in love with the power that the white man gave her, man.
But you know, that's actually women and men. That's us too. Like and when we in the world, man, the thing is we love this oppressor so much.
No doubt.
We love him so much that when we hear the truth for the first time in our life, it sounds ridiculous. It sounds like these niggas is a cult. Man, did you just hear this? Like, he said that the white man was the devil.
The reason I say that because the majority of the people that come up against the ISUPK is women.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And when you on the streets around a woman, they just can't fathom it. They don't have an ear. It's to the point when you do hear want to have an ear, you want to applaud her. You know what I mean? You're surprised. You know what I'm saying? That's why we take our hats off to the sisters that come through the school.
That's right.
Because there's someone that's going to do it.
Right.
Have an ear.
That's right. And it's such a righteous thing when a sister do come into the school and the sister is in the right spirit, because even in the scriptures say the greatest gift to a man is that black woman.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? No ruby, no diamond can outdo her. You see what I'm saying? Especially like when she's in that right spirit, you see what I'm saying? That man can do anything. He can do it through the Lord. But when that woman is in the right spirit and she's putting that wind behind him, you see what I'm saying? She gassing him, you see what I'm saying? That brother feels invincible.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That's what women have to realize that, but we have to realize that as well. We have to realize that when we put our faith into the Most High and we put our faith into keeping His law, statutes, and commandments, there's nothing that we can't do. There's nothing that we can't accomplish. You see what I'm saying? Like, we always talk about money. Man, we got to put our money together. We got to come together, man, get these businesses, which is true. We got to do that. Not knocking it. But how many people want to tell you, man, we got to come back to keeping these law, statutes, and commandments? That's the A1 right there. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's the A1, day one right there. You feel me? You keep these law, statutes, and commandments. Like, businesses is a second thought. We keep the law, statutes, and commandments. The Most High will give us that. At the very least. You see what I'm saying? Like, we still trying to get businesses when the Christian church did profited over $420 billion in the last 20 years. We still talking about businesses. You see what I'm saying? We got to start talking about keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, man, and come back to loving each other and being brothers and sisters to each other again. You understand? Because, for those who are listening, I'm going to pull out another scripture and show you how the Most High prepares us to deal with our enemies. He shows you that. He shows you their nature. He shows you their wickedness. You see what I'm saying? And those who follow these scriptures, they tend to be the ones who don't get burned by them. Those who don't want to follow them are the ones who typically end up in the streets, getting beat, bloodied, you see what I'm saying? And surprised, like, you know, we've ate lunch many of years, you know? That white guy at the job that buys you lunch when when it's Thursday and you ain't got enough money, you just trying to make it to Friday, and he or she buys you lunch, and you think they cool. That's the person you need to worry about. You understand? That's the one you need to worry about, because what they're going to do is they're going to soften you up. I say that words are smooth as butter. They're going to soften you up for that death blow. You understand? Let me get Ecclesiasticus 12:10. Got that?
Ecclesiasticus 12:10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rustles, so is his wickedness.
Listen, the Most High, like, if you're a ball player, this is pretty much the equivalent. Like, the Most High is pointing out the star player. You got to watch out for him right here. He's the one that's going to do you in. You see what I'm saying? Never trust thine enemy. Never. For sure, for like as iron rusted, so of his wickedness. You understand? Like, iron is a metal. You know it's going to rust when it's exposed to the elements. You understand? This oppressor's wickedness is going to come out. No matter how you think. Like, the Most High is saying this. You got to understand that the Most High is the creator of all things. Right? The Most High created this devil. You think that the Most High can't put a thought in this devil's head and make him do something or something like that? The Most High created him. But the Most High is telling us to never trust him. So if the Most High is saying never trust him, why are we trusting him? Like, it is a damn near a spell that's on blacks and Hispanics. Because no matter what it takes, no matter what's said, no matter what's done, we always forgive and forget what they've done to us. You feel me? The Most High is telling us, never trust our enemy. For like as iron rusted, so of his wickedness. You understand? All it's going to take is the right situation. It's going to take the right situation. These so-called protesters that's walking with and looting and setting black people up right now. Like, we're going to understand that they're ops. You see what I'm saying? They ain't for us. They not for us. They gonna get what they can get out the deal. You see what I'm saying? Like the Bible was saying, like that's why they breaking into their own businesses, busting down windows. You understand? They got a plan for how they gonna get back on their feet. Damn you. Damn you. Like what the hell is it? What the hell is a 18-year-old Caucasian girl? What the hell is she protesting? What the hell is a 15-year-old white boy protesting? Like how do he even conjure up the anger necessary to protest? You understand? That anger ain't for the protest of George Floyd or for black people. That anger is there because the government shut their economy down for 3 months and they're pissed off, you understand? Because if you want to talk about some of the most unpatriotic people on the face of the earth, look no further than that devil, you understand? Because as soon as the government tell him he can't do something, he will bring his guns to the White House and have his finger on the trigger, ready to shoot, and nothing will happen to him. You understand? We got to understand the game plan that the Most High is laying out for us. The game plan is that we got to come back to keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, and that we got to come back to being brothers and sisters to one another. And with that, I want to pass the class over to precinct officer of 1000, Gabar Rakar, for a reading of the security announcements.
Security announcements. We are ISUPK coming out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to that brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is the commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18 and 21 and Malachi 3 and 8 through 10. Means 10th in the Hebrew, and is pronounced Mayashara. 10% of any penny, of any increase the Lord gives to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest funds, free will offerings for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like to give. Holy convocations, reminding this Friday we have Feast of First Fruit. Friday sundown. So come to your school in your city and join in this feast and serve the Most High as we're supposed to. Remind Aki and Akwa to check the media, social media, such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, so on and so on, for ISUPK events and materials. If your brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he is to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirt, pants, headband, or scarf. And with that, we're going to give one courtesy to the teacher, men of Israel, mighty Shabbat, mighty Rock, Yahweh Shidduch Shabbat.
Yahweh Shidduch Shabbat.
Son, Yahweh Son, Peace sister, Sister Sam. We're going to give one courtesy to the sisters, men of Israel, mighty Shabbat, mighty Rock, Yahweh Shema, Yahweh Shidduch Shabbat. Class dismissed. Yeah, like